Merch Minds Podcast, episode number 76. And we are back with a new episode, special guest, of course. My name is Glenn. This is Young.
How's it going? How's your week?
I'm doing I'm
I
doing all
caught you off guard there,
right.
huh?
Yes,
You
you
you,
did.
you, you weren't expecting me to be so nice.
No, I wasn't expecting that at all. I
Yeah.
thought you were just gonna be an ass as usual. Just kidding.
Oh,
We even
oh, you, you filthy. Nah, you know what? I'm not even gonna go there. Let's
yeah,
not go
we
there.
have bad allergies, so no need to get you all riled up.
Yeah, yeah. But hey, before we start the show, just a quick public service announcement. I was in Los Angeles this past weekend, and we'll talk about that here in a second. I'm on the plane. I'm coming back, and my phone's off. By the time I had landed, my phone's blown up, right? I have been tagged. I was getting a bunch of messages,
Look
and
how popular this guy is.
well, unfortunately, it was for reasons that I don't really like discussing. And But there was a situation had happened between a couple of really good friends of mine, and actually good friends of ours, I should say. Um, and I'll keep this brief, okay? Like, guys, I am being neutral here. I'm not trying to take anyone's side, okay? But a situation that happened, and I kind of got stuck in the middle, because I had been tagged, and they're good friends of mine, and the internet can be a very cruel place, right? And I think whenever you have a situation that gets out of control, I think the best thing to do, regardless of who's at fault, I think the best thing to do is reach out to each other in private and have a face-to-face conversation, right? And try and squash things out in private. Whenever you use a public forum like a Facebook group to try and work things out, it becomes, as we all know, it becomes a nightmare, right? You have people chiming in, they have absolutely no idea what's going on, but they think they're entitled to leave opinions, right? And you see those silly gifs and whatnot, and it becomes a nightmare, right? My thing is, I think as reasonable adults, if you have an issue, reach out to each other in private and work things out. That's all I'm gonna say. Um, Los Angeles meetup recap.
Yeah,
It was
what
fun.
happened? It was
It was fun.
oh, apparently I just saw that you went to bed early or something. That's the only thing that I really know.
Did you not see any of the photos and like the videos in the group?
A little bit, but not as much as I thought I was gonna see. I think
Okay.
did you go live or something for a little
We
bit or no?
we did go live for a little bit. Let me tell you one thing right now. RJ is a freaking alcoholic, okay? That dude is an alcoholic, man. We were doing tequila shots, and these were more than shots because the bartender, like, he was giving us like really generous pours, man. It was like to me, like, a shot is when you drink something like with one gulp, right?
Yeah, he
Like,
doubled it
yeah,
up a little bit.
dude, man, like some of these shots were like three gulps. I had to quit like after my third shot, and RJ was like, "Come on, let's keep drinking." I'm like, no, I'm done.
Was it just
I'm
like
done.
a different charge or just all the same?
No, it's tequila, man. RJ loves tequila.
Okay. And he bought all of them?
I bought the first round. Next thing I know, there were more rounds coming, and I just couldn't do no more. I just couldn't do it.
It's that
But
merch money paying for all these shots.
I don't know, man. What was he doing? But no, it was good, man. I got to see Debbie again. I met Mary. Those two were the primary organizers. Christina Ramirez, man, dude, dude, this gal flew all the way down from. Dude, she's a neighbor of mine. She lives here in San Jose. Flew down to Los Angeles for the afternoon, for the meetup, and then flew back. Now
Dang, that's
that's a trooper.
dedication.
That's dedication, right? Um, Met,
Are we gonna get her on the show?
well, yeah, we talked about having more female guests, but yeah, no, we're gonna get her on the show here soon, and we'll talk about her more here in a second. But yeah, I mean, I met Eric Rosner.
Oh yeah, we had
Met
Eric
him
on
in
the show.
person. Really nice guy. Who else did I meet? I'm so bad with names, man. Nicole. That was my second time meeting her. Who else was there? Kent Mitomi. I think I pronounced his last name right. Aaron, just a bunch of people. You're right. There
A
was at
bunch of
least
people,
like
whatever I can remember after all these shots.
there was about yeah, dude, it was crazy. But there was about 15, maybe 20 people that showed up. It was cool though, man. It was cool. Um, and it was weird because the restaurant had stuck us into this tiny room,
Mm-hmm.
and it was starting to get really uncomfortable because they had the AC off,
Oh man.
and it was hot, dude. I mean, I was just sweating. I looked at over at a couple other people, and they're sweating, and because I thought it was just me. And everyone's sweating, and then after that, man, we just had to get out of that room, and then we vacated the main bar area of the restaurant. But it was fun. It was good times. But Christina, again, just to bring her up, she lives here in the Bay Area. But we're communicating because we're gonna organize a Bay Area meetup here. Hopefully in the next 2, 3, 4 weeks. Who knows?
Okay.
Just depending on what everyone agrees on. So if you guys are listening and you're from the Bay Area, just keep that in mind. In the next few weeks, you'll probably hear something from us about the meetup. So definitely keep your eyes open for that.
All right. Very cool. Next news.
Um, yeah, yeah, dude. Let's talk numbers. I mean, I know we normally talk numbers.
Yeah, we're gonna talk numbers. You're also gonna I forgot what you were gonna tell me about the numbers part. You're like, yeah, I'll let you know right now once we really start breaking this down of how you really feel about these numbers and what's going on.
Oh, dude, this is horrible.
So I'll go first because I know you're gonna let us know what's going on. But last 7 days, 159 products sold,
Damn.
and estimated royalties $535.57. So it has gone down, and it really just went down because one of the days, and I remember I messaged you too. I was like, here we go with 30 sales, pretty consistently, and then randomly that one day comes where it's like 3 sales. And so that
Yeah.
one day it was like single digit. The rest of the day, the next day, it was a little bit higher and better than that other day, but then it didn't get back to what I would somewhat say normal until like another day after that, and then it seemed like it was back to normal, and I was like,
Mm,
this is like way obvious. I mean, it was like just way obvious, more obvious than before. I was kind of like,
yeah.
man, come on. Like, how do you go from like consistent 25 30, 25 30, 25 30 over and over and over again, then random 3? I was like, come on.
Yeah. Yeah. No, there's definitely things happening behind the scenes, and I'm trying to stay positive, like we said before, right? I mean, Ken keeps saying, just be patient. There's good things happening, and but it's just hard, right? It's hard. It's frustrating. We're trying to scale our business, but it's when things like that keeps happening, it really does bring us down, man. Right?
Yep, yep.
So with that said, let me get into my numbers. Last 7 days, 93 shirts, product purchases $1,925.95. Estimated royalties $464.26. Basically, I'm in the same boat as you, man. I'm seeing my numbers like 18 shirts sold, next day 17, 15, and then it would drop down to like 7, and they'll stay in single digits, and then they'll go back up to double digits, single digits. It's all over the place, man. I can't keep up, and it's frustrating. And I'm trying to be very positive about it. I love merch. I love Amazon. I love the community. I love all the people that I met. Obviously, spending my own money going down to Los Angeles because I'm so passionate about merch to surround myself with like-minded individuals. But it's just so frustrating, isn't it?
Well, especially at this point, we just don't really know a lot of the back end stuff. So we're just
Yeah.
trying to, keep doing our thing. I can say that finally one of my newer shirts finally sold. Because remember we talked about, uploading more and more shirts, and then we don't see any results from the new ones. Finally, one one out of all the hundreds that I did load
Wow, just one.
sold.
And
Just
how many have you
one.
sold of those? Just one?
Yeah, just that one.
Okay.
All the other past sales of the 100 and 59 for the last 7 days are all older ones. So
Hmm.
just that one from the newer set actually
Yeah,
sold.
yeah. No, I had at this point I probably had about maybe a half dozen newly uploaded designs that I've sold. Um, and that's it. Kind of like what you just said. Just that one will sell, and then nothing. So it's frustrating, and I'm really, again, it's frustrating, and now I'm getting to the point where I'm trying to think outside the box now, right? Obviously, with this whole this guy Mike Gall, who recently came out, and we got to get him on the show. I mean, the guy's being interviewed by everyone these days, right? I mean, I think I saw him on CNN a couple of weeks ago. I mean, he's being interviewed by everyone, but at some point we'll get him on the show. But I'm trying to think outside the box now, right? Because because obviously what he's doing is, he's going to local businesses, and he's partnering up with them to have consistent sales. So
Mhm.
obviously I don't know the whole blueprint behind that business model, but I'm trying to just kind of think outside the box now and just figure out ways to generate more sales. Um, so I'm kind of trying to go down that path, but we'll see. Again, I don't know the whole business blueprint of doing the local merch thing. So that's something I need to research. And again, maybe we should get him on the show here in the next few weeks. But
You
yeah, it's
said
just,
you said getting more women on the show, and then now we're going back again. So
hey man, a guest is a guest. Okay, settle down.
matter of fact, let me go to another another topic. Tuesday, 4:41 p.m. I get a message. It's from Young. Young says, "Dude, I have a design
What I
on
said.
current trend that's processing. It's going to make me what? Going to make me an overnight millionaire."
Oh yeah.
This was a message from Young
It,
on Tuesday. Overnight millionaire. Any updates on the design trend or millions?
I do. I do. I haven't
Okay.
sold a single damn shirt. It never took off. Dude, it never took off, man. I was so positive it was gonna sell a bunch, and it just never happened.
Did you
I don't.
make different kinds of that same like type of niche or whatever?
No, no, I
Oh, okay.
didn't. But yeah, it just didn't happen. I
Oh,
thought
okay.
it. I thought it was going to, um, but
You
it,
can send me
it.
the idea though after the show if you want.
But yeah, it never took off, man. I thought it would. It was a hot trend. It was a hot topic, and it never took off.
Okay. It is what it is. But at least maybe it will at some point, maybe.
I don't know. I thought it was hilarious. It just didn't work out. But yeah, no, I'm like I said, I'm trying to think outside the box. I'm trying to, how can I approach the local business? Try and get their businesses as far as T-shirt sales. I don't know, man. At this point, I'm just desperate. I think this is going to be the first month in a long time I don't meet the 3K mark.
Yeah.
Seriously. So it's a little frustrating. But hey, do you remember Kenneth Wu?
Sounds very very familiar.
He came to the Denver meetup.
Oh yeah,
Remember?
yeah. Okay, okay, okay.
Yeah, he lives out here in the Bay Area.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Dude, he sent me a message, and just to kind of give him a plug, dude, he opened up his own restaurant.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, he sent me a message and said, "Hey, Young, I opened up my restaurant. I would love for you to come visit. So I'm gonna go pay him a visit, and then I was thinking maybe we can even do a meetup there and try to give the guy some business.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, so we'll see. Dude, speaking of that, man, remember I sent you that message 2 days ago about the freaking Denver meetup?
Oh yeah, yeah.
So for those of you guys that don't know, was it last September? It
Yeah,
was October. It was October because September we were in Seattle.
yeah.
So last October, Glenn and I were in Denver, and we had a meetup there, and we had uh, rented a conference room, and uh, so they had charges for the conference room, and I was going over my expenses a couple of nights ago, obviously to figure out what I can write off, and I found out these bastards charged me twice. So I contacted the lady. I sent her a copy of my bank statement, and she's like, "Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm in contact with our accountant right now as we speak. You should get a credit back here in the next day or two." And so I have to check in a couple of days to see if that money's back in my account. Otherwise, I'm just gonna go nuts. I'll send Jacob Topping over there and just do some crazy stuff.
Yeah, send them over there.
But that's about it, man. Anything else before we get into the show?
I think that's pretty much it for the news. I don't think we had anything else to talk about. I mean, I guess just keep us updated on the meetup you're gonna host over there, and
Yeah,
also keep us updated on your work situation because I don't think we've ever heard anything since then either. So,
I haven't heard anything since then either.
okay, yeah.
I don't know what's going on with that situation right now. Um, but yeah, no, I'll definitely keep you guys posted. But so yeah, so this week we have Johnny King. If that name sounds familiar, he's the creator of Merch Lister Pro, which I speak very highly of. That is the single reason why I was able to tier up to the 4,000 tiers so fast. So I reached out to Johnny. He said, "Yeah, I'll come on the show. I'll talk about it." Let's talk to Johnny. All right, guys. Our next guest is someone who has a product, and I'm sure almost everyone is using it. I'm using it. Glenn, are you using it? And if you're not, just say you're using it.
I'm using it. Special
He,
guest. Remember, special
he's
guest.
a special guest. Like every one of our guests, he's very special. Um, but yeah, everyone's using it. I'm using it. And uh, Merch Lister Pro, the man needs no introduction. Johnny King. Welcome to the show, sir.
Hey, thanks for having me on.
Anytime. Hey, let me ask you, is Johnny King your real name?
Johnny King is my real name.
That is an awesome name.
I'm the fifth Johnny King in my family. It was always a big joke growing up. Early 90s. I was Johnny number 5 in my family, like the robot. And yeah, people tell me all the time, like, I have one of those radio names.
Yeah.
No, I was gonna say something a little more inappropriate, but no, I think that's an awesome name. I think that's an awesome name. Johnny King, the fifth, the creator of Merch Lister Pro. You're in Oklahoma, yes?
I am Oklahoma City.
Okay, excellent. Sooner fan, I'm assuming.
I am.
The great team, man. I used to follow the Sooners back when Jamal Holloway was a quarterback.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah, in my opinion, one of the better, greatest quarterbacks of collegiate history. But that's a whole nother topic. But welcome to the show, Johnny. So we ask our guest, what tier are you on, and how are your royalties looking? And if you don't want to share, you don't have to.
Sure. Yeah. Right now, I am on the 2,000 tier. I'm actually a little bit ashamed because I created a product that helps people upload shirts faster, and I've sold over 6,000 shirts. So I'm qualified for higher tiers, but I don't have my slots maxed out, which is something Merch Lister Pro could definitely help me with. But I've been like really dedicated to trying, to make updates to the product, and haven't been as diligent with uploading my own shirts. So shame on me for that. But yeah, no, my royalties right now probably stay between, I'd say around to $1,200 to $1,400 a month.
Those are solid numbers. Those are solid.
I mean, I think they're pretty fair. Now I got started with merch. Would have been October 2015.
Okay.
So like OG Merchster.
So you're right there with Glenn, because Glenn, you started when they first opened.
Yeah, I was roughly around that same time.
Okay.
Yeah, cool. I like a big follower of Chris Green, and so whenever he was like, "Hey, there's this new thing, it's called Merch by Amazon. It's going to be huge," I was like, "Hey, I'll jump in on that." And back then, things were a little bit easier as far as like jumping in. There wasn't very much competition, but I was still doing FBA as my primary like business model there. I was full-time FBA at that point, and it just became kind of a side hustle, which now it's like my primary thing.
Yeah. Are you still doing the FBA?
I am a little bit. I have a couple of private label products that I do,
Okay.
and then just a couple of replenishable things that are manufactured here in Oklahoma that are really easy to get a hold of for me. But for the very most part, I'm concentrating on doing merch and pushing out improvements for Merch Lister Pro.
Good for you. So let's talk about Merch Lister Pro. So first of all, for those of you guys that don't know, Merch Lister Pro is now a complete subscription based only. Yes.
Yes.
Okay. At one time, you were able to purchase the Chrome extension for $34.97. It is no longer available at that one-time price. It is subscription based only at $9.97. I will have the link below. Here's the funny thing, Johnny. After I made that announcement to my email list, I know I had reached out to you privately. And remember, I asked you in private. I was like, "Hey, man, I'm getting a lot of messages. Can you extend that for me for another 24 hours?" Johnny was generous enough to do that. So anyone that subscribed to my email list, those are the benefits. First of all, you get special deals like that. But dude, after that extension, people were still sending me messages. Oh man, I missed the opportunity to buy it. I was like, no, I have no control over that.
Yeah,
It never fell.
I pushed it out as far as I could. I started letting people know, like, hey, like a week in advance, like this is going to happen. I don't want anyone to miss out. So, tell anyone that you think might be interested in Merch Lister Pro, even if you're not at a high tier, because it's not something you're going to have the opportunity to get in on in the future. But the good news is that I tell people all the time when they ask me, what exactly is Merch Lister Pro? What does it do? I tell them it's an extension that helps you, maximize the amount of uploads you can do in a short amount of time, to really target in on keywords that you're trying to hit with merch. But that if someone were to create this extension that wasn't me, if someone else made it, I would easily pay, $30 or $40 a month for it because I use it every day.
Oh, absolutely. Well, here's the thing, and I mean this, but I posted this in my group. I was like, because if you guys listen to the podcast, and Johnny, please say you listen to the podcast. Okay, so he's a loyal listener of the podcast. Well, then I have a problem filling up my slots, right?
Yeah.
For like a year, you guys know that I've been having issues because I'm just a one-man show. But dude, I kid you not, because of your extension, I made that jump from 2K to 4K like within months.
Nice.
Seriously. And I'm not just saying that, okay? So I think it's a great product. It's a great service. So tell us a little bit about it, though.
Yeah. So, Merch Lister Pro really started out because, like you, I'm a one-man show. I don't have anyone who's helping me do my uploads or keyword research or anything. I do have a couple designers that work with me. But I am my own bottleneck, and I recognize that. And so I had the point where I was, if I wanted to upload a shirt multiple times for different color variants, or I wanted to upload it onto a standard shirt and a premium shirt, which were the only two options at the point whenever I started, I would write out a title in like a Word document. I'd write out my brand and my title and my bullet points. And so then I'd copy and paste them in. And if I was going to upload it onto, like 3 different, because in the beginning, I felt like I made more sales on like shirt colors that weren't as good, where like most of them are on the dark colors now. In the beginning, I made kind of a larger variation of sales. And so I uploaded a lot of my designs because I didn't have as much money to spend on design. So I was like, I'm going to upload this as many times as I can because I have a lot of slots. But it would just take a lot of time because I'm just copying and pasting. I was like, man, there's got to be something better for the day. And so I talked to Daniel Cottle. He was like one of my merch mentors in the beginning. And he was like, you got to check out this auto text expander thing. And it'll basically do the same, like it's an extension. It does the same sort of thing, to where you can type in like keywords, like a title or a bullet point, and then tie that to like a shortcut or like a keyboard press, and then you just click on the title and then press that button, but then you'd have to reprogram it for every different design. So it was getting there, and I was like, wow, this is a really great tool. I use it every day, but I wish there was something that could just push in all of that data for me.
Sure.
And so instead of me having to go through and click here, do the brand, click here, do the title, click here, do the bullet points. And I was like, okay. And so I have a friend who's a developer. I actually work for a software company in Oklahoma City. And so I contacted him and said, hey, you know, what would it take to build an extension that I could just like kind of build a crude profile, and then it would just like paste that in there for me. In the beginning, Merch Lister Pro didn't have the keyboard shortcuts. It was all context menu. So you had to like right click on it and choose which bullet point or which brand you wanted to select, or
interesting.
You know, right click and select the title that you wanted. But then, you know, after maybe 2 or 3 months, and I had maybe, you know, 20 or 30 people using it, you know, kind of my beta tester group. Sure. And they're like, hey, you know, I really like the way the auto text expander let you use the keyboard shortcuts. And that way, you know, I don't get kind of the carpal tunnel with my mouse wrist moving back and forth on the page. And I was like, oh yeah, we could do that. And since then, that's kind of been our model is we'll put out an update and we'll see how people react to it and see what people like and what they don't like. And then, you know, a month or 2 later, we'll come out with a new update, try to push out some cool new features. Realistically, most of the features have just been things that the customers, the people who are using it, have said, hey, it would be really cool if it would do this. And I'm like, that's a really great idea. Let's make it happen. And so that's something I encourage even now. Like, hey, you know, Merch Lister Pro, I think is I mean, it's officially 3.0 right now, but it's on probably update number 4 or 5, and there's another one coming soon.
Okay. Well, I think that's awesome, and I think it's important that people like us do communicate with you, and that you actually do listen to our inputs, and to make your product better. I think that's really important. I think that's awesome. Glenn, do you have any questions?
I wanted to see if you want to talk a little bit about like creating a merch profile when you're in there. I know we can. Depends what if they're listening to us, they can't really, I guess, see something. But I guess you want to explain a little bit about building a profile for your shirts when you're in your program.
Yeah. So now with Merch Lister Pro 3.0, there's 2 ways to do that. From the main screen, when you have it opened up, and you're right, it's a little bit hard to illustrate when it's not in front of you. But when you open it up and you want to make a new profile, there is a button to create a new profile, and it's going to drop down a little menu that looks exactly like the page on you know, Merch My Amazon. And so it has, you know, the same size text fields, and so you have to put in a brand name and a title, 2 bullet points and a description. And if you save that, then that creates a profile for you, and you can put in a keyboard shortcut. And so it can be, you know, a 1-character shortcut. So I personally like to use like the letters like Q, W, E, R, and T, because, you know, they're right there. I hit those with my left hand easily. But you can use anything you want. And then so once you go into the the merch screen where you're building your profiles, like you're actually uploading data, you can, you know, just click on a data field like the title or the brand and press that keyboard shortcut. So press, you know, the like letter Q, and it'll input all that data for you. On top of that, you can also build like color profiles. So say that you like to upload shirts onto like, I always choose, no matter what, upload them onto dark profiles. So like the dark heather, black, navy, asphalt, royal blue, those are like my default colors. And then if I have a good bestseller, I might put it onto a couple, like I have one that is just like neutral tones, like the grays or grays and whites. And then I have one that's kind of like the lighter, brighter colors. So if I have a bestseller that's like really, you know, picking up steam, I'll upload it on other color variations onto all the different products or whatever, just to put it out there. And so you can make color profiles when you're on that color selection page in merch. You just click on a data field, press that shortcut key, and it'll select your colors for you. And so it cuts the process down, you know, from, I mean, really choosing your colors. If you know what you're doing, you know, you're doing it over and over again. It really only takes maybe 5 or 6 seconds, but it cuts that, you know, 5 or 6 seconds down to a half second, and then you're done. It makes it real easy.
Especially after like 100 shirts.
Oh, opening, man. Yeah, I just like get so tired and banging my head on the keyboard. Like,
Don't even get me started, man. I was a prime example of the guy who used to copy and paste all the time. Um, but I want some clarification for the listeners. I think a lot of people think that Merch Lister Pro is a multi design uploader, and that's not what this is, correct?
No. Okay. So right now, anything that is a multi-design uploader is against the Amazon terms of service.
It is. I was just going to get into that.
Right. And so I've had people reach out to me and ask, like, it says, hey, in the TOS, it says that you can't use a script or anything like that. Is this violating TOS? And the answer is no. Merch Lister Pro is kind of what would be labeled as like an auto hotkey or a macro device. So it's allowing you to make a selection and then it's inputting that selection quickly for you. But you're still having to hit submit. You're still having to manually upload every design file. And so it's not reducing the time that takes for those. In future iterations, we are coming out with like an auto submit hotkey. So whenever you get done choosing your colors, you can just press Control Enter and it'll like save and select and go to the next page. But it's still not rolling through by itself for you. It's not what a script would be if I said, all right, I'm going to create a CSV file that has a link to all of my design files on my computer. And then I can put the title and bullet points and stuff, all of that for 100 different designs and tell it to go. And then it would start, one by one. Number 1 uploaded, number 2 uploaded, number 3 uploaded, which would, although be very awesome,
very awesome.
it would not be worth getting your Amazon account taken down for. And so right now, as far as I understand, Merch Lister Pro is the fastest I've found way to upload shirts that are in agreement and accordance to the Amazon TOS.
Mm-hmm. No, I absolutely agree. I think it's the fastest thing out there. I haven't, dude, Johnny. I swear, and I talk about Merch Lister Pro all the time with other people. To this day, I have not found one person who had anything bad to say about it. Right? I mean, people talk shit about me all the time. That's just natural. But I haven't found one person who said anything bad about Merch Lister Pro, and I think that's a good thing. I mean, it's a great product, and I really do hope you do make improvements, and it sounds like you are. So there's a lot of conspiracy theorists out there. Okay, I personally know some of them. Okay, let's just get this. Where is this data being kept? Because whenever something like this comes out, they're like, oh, they have access to all our t-shirt titles and everything. That's not the case also, right?
Right. Okay. Yeah. So Merch Lister Pro doesn't store any data. It's actually, well, I mean, it's stored locally on your machine. And so what that means is that like I don't have access to it. So if you say like, oh, Johnny, like my computer crashed last night and I had 1,000 profiles uploaded, I'll give you $1 million to restore those profiles for me. Although I would love to take $1 million, I can't do it. I don't have access to it. And I mean, I could probably get with my developer and say, hey, could you tell me exactly where it is on the local that this is being stored? So we might be able to go through and kind of retrieve those, those files for you. And to me, customer service is like a huge deal. And so when people have a problem, I try to work really hard to resolve their problem, even if it's a one-off issue. I've had a few issues with customers where they have kind of a problem that I can't replicate. And so I try to reach out to the community and say, hey, has anyone else had this problem? And really try to reach out. But yeah, to answer your question, the profiles are stored locally on your computer. No one else has access to them. Like there isn't any information stored on the cloud anywhere as far as in the extension goes. So it's not like a hackable system to where like there can't be a data breach where someone hacks into Merch Lister Pro and gets access to everyone's like merch niches. It's not possible. That does have a couple constraints. So I have Merch Lister Pro on 3 different computers in my house. So I have my laptop and I have my desktop in my office, and I have my wife's laptop as well. And so the profiles don't translate between computers. So what I do is if I have profiles that I want uploaded, I will export them and I'll save them on like a Google Drive or in a Dropbox. And then if I, I have Merch Lister Pro on all the different computers. So if I need the profiles, I'll just load them up, say, open my Dropbox on whatever device I'm on, download that CSV file, import it into the machine I'm on, and then you're ready to go. And I recommend doing that for people just, like I said, in the event that, your computer does crash or something like that. Like I work in IT. And so I'm always like, hey, you should have everything backed up all the time.
Oh yeah, no, I do all my computing off the cloud.
Yeah. And the profiles, like, to me, people pay me for Merch Lister Pro because it saves time. And so, because like to us as entrepreneurs, like our time is worth money. It's dollars. And so, so you got to think about the profiles that you've built that you spent time on. Like those are your dollars. Like you need to put those in a bank somewhere. Don't put them out on your front lawn.
Absolutely. No, I agree. So for all the conspiracy theorists, okay, take a chill pill. He's not stealing your data. Okay, all that's on your own personal drive. Glenn, do you have any questions?
Well, you were questioning
otherwise, I can talk to him forever.
You were questioning him like Zuckerberg or something. Like,
hey, dude, this is the Congress, man. We don't mess around here, man.
He's like, no, Senator Young, we do not.
Where is that data
no, Senator Young, we don't do that.
Where is that data being kept?
Do you want to talk a little bit about, I guess, when you started it and what was the price then? What kind of happened now? And then, because obviously Young kind of talked a little bit about that on his email list and how the prices have changed. People may have missed the deal, but when did it start and how did it get to where it is now, price wise, feature wise, everything like that?
Right. Yeah. So whenever I started out, it was very basic. Like I said, it was just like the context menu copier thing. And I originally started it off at a price point of, it was $14.97. So it's, what I consider dirt cheap. But at that point, I talked to a few people. I talked to, Chris Green and Nick McAllister and Chris Grant, guys who had kind of made Chrome extensions in the past. And it said, like, should I try charging monthly for this? Should I try doing like a lifetime membership? And they're like, honestly, no one knows who you are. No one knows if your product is any good at all. Like it would be best if you could just like get some sales and then get some feedback from the people who use it. And I said, okay, that's valuable advice. And so I was selling it at a price point that I felt like was very conservative. And but then I said, hey, if people like it, then I can add features to it and maybe move it up, as it goes along to kind of be at a place where I feel like you're charging what it's really valued at. Mm-hmm. And so, like I said, it's gone through a few iterations. When we added the keyboard shortcuts, which really became a huge time saver. It bumped from like $15 to around $20, so it was $19.97. And then we added the color menus, like the color selector, and it went from like $19.97 to $24.97. And then the latest one was with the biggest jump is when we added the merch listing data machine into it, which we haven't really talked about yet. That's the newest, biggest feature. And what it does is it basically creates the listing data for you. So it'll build a title, like a brand name, bullet points, and a description for you automatically. Like all you have to do is put in keywords. And so you have to write in your brand name. But if you put in your main keyword, so if you're making a shirt for soccer moms, like you say, like, I heart kids who love soccer, you make that your first keyword. That's your primary keyword. And then it gives you 4 more spots. And so you could put in, like soccer and, I don't know, soccer related keywords. I don't play soccer. So, football, you put in those keywords, and then what it does is it inserts those keywords into like templates, which are, I call them default values. And so the way it writes out is it'll be like this, and then it inserts your title. So I heart soccer, shirt for moms, is a great product for, and then it'll have like keyword number 2, lovers. And so whatever your keyword number 2 is, it'll insert that. And so what it does is it generates like your listing details in a way that looks like a human wrote it. And there's some times where the grammar doesn't make sense. You need to touch it up a little bit. But for the very most part, like I go in there and I say, St. Patrick's Day shirt, and then put in all my keywords and then just let it rip. And I can go through there and it'll automatically generate a Merciless Pro profile using those 5 keywords. It'll make one for the standard shirts, premium shirts, long sleeve shirts, sweatshirts, and hoodies. And then in an upcoming update, because someone has asked for it, you're actually going to be able to, on the tabs inside the merch listing data machine, you'll be able to select the checkbox for the products you want it to make a profile for. Because some people say, like, I don't want to upload hoodies and sweatshirts and long sleeve shirts. Like, I only want standard and premium shirts. And I'm like, okay, cool. Just deselect those boxes. And then when you hit like import or you hit append, it'll push those over into your Merciless Pro like profile table, and it'll only upload the ones you want.
Yeah, and I'm looking at here on YouTube
on everything. But anyways, go ahead, Glenn.
Oh, I'm just saying, I'm looking at that here on YouTube. I think you uploaded, it looks like what, March 17th, the 3.0 quick feature demo, right? Where it shows you. So if they wanted to go check out that YouTube video, we can also put that in the notes too, the show notes.
Everything will be in the show notes.
Yeah, they could see the bullet points, the breakdown as far as, like you said, you can enter a keyword like 3, 4, and 5. And then you said you can kind of touch it up a little bit to make more sense. But if they want to check that out, they can see the full demo for sure.
Right. And then, and there's also I think if you check on YouTube, there's a Merciless Pro like in-depth tutorial. And like the most recent one it's real long. It's like 45 minutes. I don't really recommend anyone jumping in on that unless you've actually purchased. If you buy Merciless Pro, then we send that video out in like a thank you letter just to make sure that everyone knows, like, and it's a real slow in-depth walkthrough of like every single feature that's available, just to make sure that, no stones are left unturned. But yeah, like, and I'm always available as well. Like people hit me up on Facebook all the time. I get messages throughout the day and saying, hey, like, I'm trying to do this. Can Merciless Pro do that? And I'm like, yeah, just press this button and it'll do it for you.
Mm-hmm.
Questions.
Johnny he's really good about responding, not just by email but on Facebook. Great customer. He provides great customer service. And you did mention that Facebook group as well. We'll have that in the link in the show notes as well. Any closing comments, Johnny?
Is that for me? Oh
yeah.
I really appreciate you having me on and shouting out. Honestly, before I did this big push where we moved it from a lifetime membership to having a subscription, I hadn't really met or talked to Young before, but I'm looking forward to working together and doing some more podcasts in the future.
Absolutely,
I've got some things up my sleeve that I feel like is going to help everyone, and
awesome.
And I feel like I'm looking for people like Young to help spread the word.
Yeah. Hey, Glenn, you want to hear a funny story, dude?
Yeah.
When I reached out to him, dude, it was like freaking 6 o'clock in the morning. I'm getting ready for work and I'm brushing my teeth and I'm on my phone and I accidentally took a picture of myself brushing my teeth and sent it to Johnny.
What did he respond?
Johnny, did you delete that picture, man? Please delete it, man.
No, I got it. You want to see it?
Dude, that's something that TMZ will probably get and just destroy my career. It was the funniest picture. I'm like, I'm doing this, man. It was horrible. Hideous. You have to say something, Johnny.
Oh yeah, there it is.
Look at that, dude. Thank goodness I wasn't on the toilet. Otherwise, that just would have been horrible.
And that data we can keep.
Right, and
that would have been horrible.
We've been friends ever since.
That would have been horrible. But hey, Johnny, before we let you go, I know people are going to ask, dude. Is there any time in the near future? Are you planning on having another like a pop-up sale for like a lifetime for a lifetime price?
I am planning on it probably closer to the end of Q3 or the beginning of Q4.
Okay.
So it will probably happen. I've had requests for that. Right now, I feel like a lot of people are pushing me and said, "Hey, no,
don't do it now. Don't people miss opportunities."
And I mean, to me, it's a kind of an integrity issue. Like if I tell people that I'm going to do something, right, and then I let a bunch of people in on the back door, like I feel like it's unfair to the people who are signing up for the subscription. But yeah, I feel like this is definitely going to happen in the future.
Okay. Yeah. No. Just curious because I know, like I said, I was getting tons of messages. So you guys heard it here for first. He might have one later this year. But hey, thanks again for your time. I know you're super busy. Come back anytime, chat with us. Next time you have a big update, come back on the show, and we'd love to talk to you.
For sure. I'll do it. I appreciate you guys having me on.
Great guest, as always. Johnny came through. So to be honest, I mean, be honest. Are you using Merch Lister Pro?
I'm not using it right now.
Okay. Are you gonna sign up?
Yes, I am
I
gonna
think
sign
I,
up.
I think it'll save you a lot of time. I really do.
So
Dude,
yeah,
for some reason I thought you were using it. I could have swore maybe it was someone else. But I could have swore you said that you were using it.
no, some other extensions and stuff going on that I do use, but I definitely got to use this and see. I can kind of compare them and see what's going on, but I'm pretty sure this one's gonna be way better. So
Yeah. No, he's come a long way. Um and it sounds like he's gonna be doing some more updates with it. So I'm definitely looking forward to those new updates. But other than that, man, any closing comments?
no, I think we're good. I mean, good solid interview. I thought it went pretty smooth. I mean, he's just seemed like he's a natural at doing the interviews, answering questions. He has that radio name.
Johnny
That
King.
is his real name. So, but
That's
it was
right.
good.
Yeah, no, great guy. Um, other than that, guys, as always, thank you so much for your support and listening. Glenn, where can people find you?
Hustler Hacks on YouTube and email me hustlerhacks1 at gmail.com.
And you guys can email me at yong@geekhustle.com or just tag me on Facebook.
Yes, sir. All right. See you next time.